A common question I get asked is, Ewan, how do I eat for performance but also stay lean? And in this video, I'm going to take you through an average, very average day in my life, what I eat to run faster, stay lean and build muscle without overly obsessing on every single calorie, plus give you a bit of education on the numbers of what you ideally want to be hitting to fuel for performance and also staying lean. All right, here we are. Just about to sort out my breakfast. It's been a real struggle the whole of last week to sleep. I've been sleeping on the sofa just because it's been so hot. Being in with Rach has been almost impossible because we've been sweating both of our tits off. Hers are much nicer than mine, but hey ho. Here's what we're doing. So I'm going to train in roughly a couple hours and eat, smash out some work, and then get in the gym. So fairly close to the session is what I'm going to have a much more carbohydrate heavy breakfast. So I've got oats. What else? Got some creatine in there with them, if you can see. Some chia seeds, just for some healthy fats, good fibre. Protein, 40 grams of that. About 60 or 70 grams of oats. And then I'm going to pop in 200 or 300 grams of semi-skim milk. And usually, but I've run out today, ill-prepared day. Usually I'd pop on like banana, some dates or raisins, just to get a few more carbohydrates on there for a pre-workout breakfast, essentially. Don't have that today, so no, that's cool. We'll be all right. We'll be all right. We'll live. I used to train without eating, so I'm sure I'll be fine. Try and get mostly whole foods in. Having said that, when you're training a lot, when I do some double days and things like that sometimes, just to get enough calories in without the gut feeling too uncomfortable, then sometimes, yeah, we get a few more processed foods in, and I think that is absolutely okay. As long as you're, having mostly whole foods, because yeah, you just need to sometimes get the energy in, and it's a lot easier a lot of the time with the more processed stuff. I never used to have that many supplements. It used to just pretty much be a bit of protein, creatine, a multivit. Now, got a few more, not too many more. So I take these daily. Heights, multivitamin and magnesium. Has definitely helped with how I feel and general energy levels. Magnesium helps with my sleep, so I noticed that resting heart rate definitely lower with the magnesium, because obviously doing a lot of training, it gets depleted. And more recently, I've been looking at my workout nutrition a bit more. So, especially now because it's been a lot warmer and been sweating a lot more up in this flat. I take electrolytes now before a gym session. Depending on how long it is as well. I mean, sometimes it's probably not necessary, but they taste good as well, to be fair. So I've been banging in some electrolytes for the session with some beta-alanine, roughly 5 grams, which again just helps you push a little bit harder. Usually I've just been taking that when running, but more recently I've found out that it can have more of a cumulative effect. So yeah, just taking a bit of beta-alanine each day. And then I do, sometimes if I know I've got a hard session or I'm out running and it's a harder or longer session, I will add a bit of carb powder to my electrolyte drink. And again, like, it's not a massive necessity, especially if I'm just training in the gym for an hour, but it does help. So I'm trialing this out. I've noticed definitely getting stronger in the gym. Running is feeling good. So yeah, I'm gonna keep it rolling. We're in week 6 now of the training block, about halfway. So doing a little bit of benchmarking today. Gonna get on the squats, build up to a 5 rep max, 6 rep max bench, and go from there. I'll take you through it. All right, we're getting there. Session's almost done. Did some plyometrics to start, pre-lift plyos, some depth jumps, which are fairly new in the block. Really good to get that stretch, shortening cycle, the bounce and the rebound. Then built up to 5RM back squat. Did my best ever, as you saw, on 20 kilos for 5. Felt horrible, but got it done into some step back or reverse lunges. Built up to a 6RM bench press, which almost got 87, not quite, so got 5 on that and failed the last rep. And now, second to last exercise, got 2 sets of max rep pull-ups, and I really want to get 20. So let's see if we can get 20 on this first set. Let's have it. You can see the absolute vest twat tan that I've got over the weekend. Love it. What I ate immediately after this beautiful stuff, which I'm absolutely loving of late. There it is. The Delamere Chocky Milk, just from Spa, literally down the road. Research is there. Chocolate milk is absolutely elite recovery fuel from sessions. Good ratio, generally, if you get the right stuff, of carbs to protein. 3-to-1 is the ideal. It's hydrating, decent amount of protein in there as well, and yeah, mate, just all round optimal, which is good. And then I had this grenade bar as well, quality flavour, that white chocolate salted peanut. Yes, it's processed, I don't care. I eat mostly whole foods, so every now and then I enjoy a good protein bar like that, and 20 grams of protein. So between these two, yeah, it's like 30-40 grams of protein in that as a post-workout snack. Got my leftover dinner from yesterday for the post-workout meal. We got chips at the bottom. You can't really see. It's a look-alike chip shop kebab kind of thing. Chips at the bottom. Got some chicken, tomato, lettuce, and then these pickled shallots, which are banging, with some ketchup, mayo, aioli type thing there. And yeah, so it's a good, not boring meal. Again, whole foods. Got your carbs from your potatoes, got your greens, got your tomatoes, a bit of colour, protein from the chicken with curry paste or curry powder on it. So yeah, well-rounded meal, which isn't bland either. So I'm going to tuck into that and crack on. All right, so what you saw there was my dinner. Sweet potato, carrot mash with some chicken and a nice soft cheese, creamy kind of sauce. Again, not bland, but with still a lot of good whole foods in there. And also, who really wants to eat chicken, broccoli and plain rice all day long? Not me, that's for sure. And I know you probably don't too. So it can be done. And in that meal, there was 366 calories per portion, 33 grams of carbs, 36 grams of protein, 10 grams of fat. And so that brought my total for the day just under 2,400 calories, 72 grams of fat, 261 grams of carbohydrates, and 166 grams of protein, which is over 2 times body weight. Fairly high, but definitely going to help me keep and build that lean muscle as I'm running more, as I'm training more, which is helpful. Because I think it's good to shoot slightly higher as long as you can also get in enough carbohydrates to fuel your performance. Now, this is like an average day for me without really dialing in or tracking closely, because I don't always track super meticulously unless I'm going through a period of pushing harder and I really want to track and nail the amount of carbs that I need to perform for certain workouts or a race coming up. Because yeah, ideally, if I wanted to probably perform better in my sessions and workouts, I could get a fair few more carbs in and probably drop that protein a little bit, which I will do when I have those weeks where I'm pushing or when I want to perform better or I've got a double day. I'll push that up to probably around 300-400 grams of carbs for an average day without being super meticulous with my tracking, with my nutrition. That's a really good spot to be, I think, and it's getting me good results. I feel good in the gym. One of the leanest I've ever been whilst building strength. So yeah, it's working. I want to talk you through how I think about nutrition and the important parts to it, especially if you're wanting to perform as well as get in shape. I look at it in 4 parts generally. There's your pre-workout nutrition, there's your intra-workout nutrition, post-workout, and your daily nutrition. The most important out of all of these for general health is your daily. However, if you're wanting to perform as well with your running, with your gym sessions, it's really good to dial in and look at your pre, intra, and post. Let's start with your pre. This is roughly 2 to 4 hours before a workout or a race or a training day. You want to choose things that are relatively easy on the gut. So if you have things with a lot of fiber, a lot of fat, I've done it many a time, trust me, gone out and ran and needed a big old shit and it's been very uncomfortable. Full transparency, I have shit myself before. So it's a lesson learned from me to you. So yeah, you want it to be easy on the gut, not too heavy, roughly 2 to 4 grams per kilo of body weight of carbohydrate if you want to be more meticulous with it. Intra-workout depends. When I'm training, a lot of the time I don't necessarily have anything in particular unless it's a hard training session or I want to really perform in it, which is often the threshold or the interval runs that I do. So in intra, you really just want liquid carbs. So having a drink with carbs, salt, maybe some electrolytes. And it also depends on the time, the intensity and the duration, of the workout that you're doing. I've got a table which I can send to you. I will pop it in the description actually, so you can go and swipe that so you can have a bit more of a clear picture on fueling for performance, intra, pre and post workouts. And let me break down for you using this graph why carbohydrates are really important for your performance. On the X, we've got intensity, 0% to 100%. On the Y axis, we've got substrate utilization, less or more of. At lower intensities, we use slightly less carbs. At higher intensities, we use more carbs. So that's carbohydrates there. The vice versa with fat utilization. At lower intensities, so your zone 2 work, your walking, your daily living where your heart rate's not too high, we're using a lot more fat for fuel. Whereas when that intensity rises, it's a lot harder because it's a slower process to generate energy from fats, from stored fats. We utilize a lot less fat and a lot more carbohydrates because carbohydrates are stored as glycogen in our muscles, in our liver, and it's a lot more readily available. So when we're training hard, when we need that energy a lot faster, carbs are going to be our go-to source, which is why they're key for performance if we want to run faster for longer. And then post-workout, ideally for recovery, you want to get about 1 gram per kilo of body weight of carbohydrates every hour for 4 hours after a hard session, which seems like a lot, but really, really helps your recovery. I mean, for me, I absolutely love chocolate milk. You can't beat it, really. It's a perfect ratio of carbs to protein, hydrates you, tastes fucking good. Chocolate milk is great for it, and there's research on it. And then your daily nutrition. Really, you want to be getting in at least, as an absolute minimum, 1.5 grams per kilo of protein. You want it to be mostly whole foods and roughly around, at least, depending on your goal, maintenance calories. And then you really want to make sure you're adequately hydrated. So a good number to aim for is 35 to 50 milliliters of water per kilo of body weight.
All right, it's me done. Over and out. Hope you enjoyed the show and took some useful information from that. Any questions, you know where I am. If you want any more help personally, I'll drop a link in the description. Laters, much love.